With The Spy Who Loved Me. Now, though, we're on track for Mind the Gap with Paul Ross.
Stand clear of the doors, please. Mind the gap. Mind the gap.
Hello and a warm welcome to Mind the Gap, the game show that asks tougher questions than an LRT inspector looking at an out-of-date ticket. And I hope you'll agree there's nothing out of date about any of our contestants today. In fact, we think they're just the ticket. Give them a round of applause because they're waiting on platform 1. And let's say hello first to Carlos at the end there. Carlos, whereabouts in London are you from?
I'm from West London.
Whereabouts?
Westbourne Park.
And you've got a rather unusual ambition, is that right?
Yes, to have your job, Paul.
Really? Well, here's a tip for you. Start putting on weight and start losing your hair. Those are the first 2 steps, mate. And what sports do you like?
I play quite a bit of basketball when it's nice weather.
Is that in a team or?
No, just me and a friend. We just play one-on-one. Sort of, there's a street cage near where I live, so we go and play in there.
So can white men jump?
No, they can't.
Oh dear, well you might be into the show if you get our £1,000. Give them a round of applause and welcome to Carlos. And a lovely hello to Julie there in the middle. Julie, where are you from and what do you do for a living?
I'm from Annerley and I'm a nursery nurse.
And you're working, although you've got a little child as well?
Yeah, I'm on maternity leave at the moment, enjoying every minute at home.
We hope you go back to work with £1,000. Good luck on the
Lovely.
show today. Give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
And say hello to Tony, who lives near where I grew up. Whereabouts is that?
Ilford in Essex.
And what do you do for a living, Tony?
I'm a footwear retailer. I sell slippers.
You like your sports as well?
I do.
You'll have to say the best surname of anyone who's been on this show. Give us your surname.
Panic.
Tony Panic. He should have been a kind of James Bond secret agent. Well, he's not, but he's our contestant today. Give them all a round of applause. As I get them to brace themselves for our first round. Now, the aim of this game is to win as many tube stations as you can for my great big colourful tube map of London town. Answer a question correctly and you get a tube, and each tube line represents a different area of knowledge. Every time you win a station, you've got to change lines. It could be food and drink, sport, nature, London life, lots and lots of choices and options. Now, the first station we're playing for is South Kensington. If you buzz in and answer this question correctly, you get the choice of where we head for next. Here's your first question. Fingers on buzzers. For what was the slave Aesop most renowned? And it's Tony.
His fables?
His fables is correct. Give him a round of applause. He's got his first station and he's got 3 choices. London life, music or sport.
Try sport.
Sport on the Piccadilly line and we're heading for Gloucester Road. 5 nations have competed at all 24 Summer Olympic Games. Australia, France, Greece, Switzerland and which other nation, Tony?
Great Britain.
Is correct. Another round of applause, please, and another station. It's now London life or music for you, sir.
London life.
London life. OK, a question for all 3 of you. Fingers on buzzers. In which London park are there traditionally no flowers grown? Carlos.
Green Park?
Is correct. Well worked out, mate. Round of applause. You're on the scoreboard with 1 station. Buzz in when you like, Julie. Here we go, and the choice is yours, Carlos. TV or music?
TV, please, Paul.
TV, we're travelling on the Central Line and we're heading for Bond Street. Which US city was the setting for Starsky and Hutch? Tony.
Los Angeles?
Los Angeles is correct. Another station and another choice. Well, not much of a choice, just 1 line. Jubilee Line, 20th century is the category and we're heading for Baker Street. Question for you all. Who became the first ever female Speaker of the House of Commons in 1992? Tony by a short head.
Betty Boothroyd.
Former chorus girl is absolutely correct. You've won another station and you've got 4 choices, mate. You're at Baker Street. Do you want food and drink, movies, London life or the world?
The world.
The world, the Hammersmith line, and we're off to King's Cross, St Pancras, if you're right. All 3 of you, fingers on buzzers. Ronald Reagan was governor of which American state? And it's Tony again.
California.
Is correct. Between 1966 and 1974. He's on a roll. Give him a round of applause. Tony's on 5. Carlos is on 1. Julie's on nothing, but I'm sure we're going to change that, Julie. Here's a question first, though, for you alone, Tony. Do you want to play food and drink, people, sport, nature, or London life?
Sport.
Back on sport, the Piccadilly line, heading for Holborn. What is the colour of Holland's national football strip? And it's Carlos.
Orange.
Orange is correct. You've now got your second station and a choice to play on the Central Line, because that's where we're heading, mate, for Tottenham Court Road. Fingers on buzzers. Mr Humphreys was a menswear salesman, and it's Carlos.
Are you being served?
Is not what I'm looking for. I'll finish the question. Tony's buzzed in next. Mr. Humphreys was a menswear salesman in which fictional department store?
Sorry, I can't remember.
And out of time on that one, so Julie can give us an answer. Julie,
Grace Brothers.
give her a round of applause, she's right. Here we go, you got your first station, and we're now playing People on the Northern Line heading for Warren Street. Here's your question. Which famous TV cook and authoress is on the board of directors at Norwich City? Carlos.
Delia Smith.
Is correct. He's got another station. He's now got 3. We're playing Nature on the Victoria Line heading for Oxford Circus. Fingers on buzzers. Which is the most common rodent in the UK? And it's Carlos.
Rat.
The common rat is correct. Another station and another question. This time it's movies. We're on the Bakerloo line heading for Piccadilly Circus. Fingers on buzzers. In the 1992 movie Batman Returns, who played the Penguin? Carlos.
Danny DeVito.
Is correct. He's now level pegging with Tony. 5 plays 5 with Julie on 1. It's Sport, the Piccadilly line, and we're heading for Leicester Square. Here's a question. Sunil Gavaskar scored a record-breaking, and it's Tony.
Cricket.
Is not the answer. You're now locked out, and I'm going to finish the question for both Carlos and Julie. Sunil Gavaskar, you just wanted me to say that again, didn't you, Tony? Cool man. Sunil Gavaskar scored a record-breaking 34 centuries for his country. Which cricketing nation was that? And it's Carlos.
India.
Is correct. He's now in the lead. He's got 6 stations, and we're going to play the People line, the Misery line, the Northern line, heading for Charing Cross. Here we go. Who became the 5th James Bond in 1995? And it's Carlos.
Pierce Brosnan.
Pierce Brosnan is correct. He's got another station. Give him a round of applause. And we're taking a bit of a breather now because it's the end of round 1.
Mind the gap.
Well, we're well and truly underway. Let's take a look at the scores. Carlos is in the lead with, lucky for him, 7 stations. Julie lagging behind just a bit, but still a long way to go with 1. Tony not far behind with 5 stations. Give them all a round of applause. They've done very well. And they have earned a breath of fresh air. We're now going overground to show you a lovely 1-minute guided tour of this fair city. Lovely except for the fact there are 3 deliberate mistakes in this report, 1 in each of your 20-second segments. Also, we're going to ask you an observational question from anywhere in the film. So, here's a tip from Paul Ross. Listen out for your bit, but watch all of it as we find out from our Andy where he is today. Where are you, Andy, mate?
Hi, today we're looking at things to do with the kids. We're going to be going up to Regent's Park, we're going to have a look at the London Planetarium and also Madame Tussauds.
Mind the gap.
No waxworks can hold a candle to Madame Tussauds, the most famous waxworks in the world. The museum has been on Charing Cross Road since 1884. Each exhibit begins life as a clay model and is finished off with real human hair. Next door is the planetarium, where you can see 9,000 stars. A great place to be blinded by science.
Mind the gap.
Next up is Baker Street, home of legendary sleuth Sherlock Holmes. Aided by his companion Dr. Watson and his housekeeper Mrs. Hudson, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's deductive detective foiled many a plan of his arch-enemy Professor Plum from 221B Baker Street, his London pad. Also, William Pitt the Younger lived here, the wonderful man responsible for giving us income tax.
Mind the gap.
Where better to take the kids than Regent's Park? Surrounded by Park Crescent with its beautiful houses designed by John Nash, completed in 1820, the park was built on land acquired by Henry VIII. It houses London Zoo, which opened to the public in 1828, when ladies were asked not to poke the animals with their parasols. And in 1958, Chi-Chi the gorilla was the zoo's most famous resident.
Mind the gap.
So, 1 report, 3 mistakes. It's amazing we keep employing Andy. Did you spot your deliberate mistake, Carlos?
Yeah, I did. It was Madame Tussauds is not on Charing Cross Road.
In fact, it's on Marylebone Road, so you're right. You get another station, and here's your observational question. How many elephants did you see at London Zoo?
3.
Is correct. 2 out of 2. Give him a round of applause. He's now on 9 stations. Julie, good luck. Your deliberate mistake, please.
Professor Plum was not Sherlock Holmes' arch-enemy.
Now, he turns up in a board game, doesn't he? It's Professor Moriarty. Well done. You've got 1 station. You've doubled your total. And here's your observational question. Get this right, and you triple it. The dome of the planetarium was separated from the rest of the building by a band of which colour?
Green.
It was gold, I'm afraid. So 1 station's not bad, though. Let's move along to Tony. Tony, did you spot your deliberate mistake?
I think it was Henry VIII didn't acquire Buckingham Palace.
It's nothing really to do with Henry
Oh,
VIII,
right.
I'm afraid. It's the fact that Chi-Chi, who was mentioned there, was a giant panda, not a giant gorilla. Henry VIII, however, was also a giant gorilla, so we maybe should be a bit lenient there. No points for that one, no stations.